All right, I think we're good here. Apologies if you hear some clicking. Heather's playing some Hyrule Warriors over there. I was attempting to get in the mindset to talk a little bit while all that sound was going on, and it wasn't working very well. So that's a little quieter now. Much appreciated. Thank you. She smiled at me. That means she hates me, but that's okay. Um, so, how are you? How's today been? Hopefully fantastic. It's been all right over here. Uh, Another day of meetings, but this time I won't talk for, let's see, how much did it say? 15 minutes for yesterday's? Just about how Zoom meetings are exhausting. That is an interesting topic. I was thinking about it after putting that together and putting it up, and was like, that probably wouldn't be a bad thing to revisit and just talk about, like in a more formal sense. Like that, like these things are always just sort of rambly and just spewing some thoughts and stuff, but actually putting some time into figuring out, like, what do people feel? What do brains do? Has anyone studied that kind of thing? Probably be kind of interesting to see that broken down. But that's for another day. I'm not going to get into that or an analysis of that analysis. But one of the things that came to mind today is I mentioned that for the site that I do writing for, Prismatic Planet, today, every Tuesday I write a haiku. It was initially like just a way for me to just do some writing like every week, just to keep doing it, just to have some not super high bar. Like poetry isn't a low bar per se. You still have to put a fair amount of thought into it, and the amount of time that I put into 3 lines is kind of a lot. Like I'll still spend half hour to an hour thinking of how to best describe an image, using that format, and it takes a bit of time. It's just not like you have to spend, like for the other stuff that I post, like hours or days doing research and writing and editing. It's just some pretty quick thing that you can put out there, and I'm generally outside a fair amount, even during pandemic times, doing just environmental volunteer work, and it gives me opportunities to go take pictures of things that I see outside. So I just take a bunch of pictures and hopefully find a handful that I'll like, and be able to post and do a little poem about. But it was really just a way to, as I said, just do something that doesn't take up a ton of time, can be pretty well repeatable. It's not something I have to think about how I'm going to approach something. It's always find a picture, do some slight editing to that picture, come up with writing, convey those thoughts, kind of work on vocabulary at the same time, which is a good thing for the rest of just my writing, and just get used to posting something to a website and to social media platforms every week. And today was actually my 52nd one, which means I've been doing it for an entire year, which it feels like I've been doing it for way longer. 2020 just has that kind of effect, I guess. But it's kind of interesting getting to a year and being like, I'm not really fatigued by this. I haven't missed a year despite I haven't missed a year. This is my first year. I haven't missed a year. I haven't missed a day or a week of doing this. This is just straight through. I don't think I made the site until the end of December, early January, but I had started doing this Haikus Day thing prior to the website existing. It was just sort of testing them out and seeing how many people liked them. I think I got more reactions out of just posting them myself rather than on behalf of a site. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to tie the work that I'm doing to me. I want to tie it to something that I can hopefully get other people like on board with and help out with at some point in the future. But that's thinking way far ahead, not not right now, which is just sort of practice writing. But it's kind of interesting to think back in retrospect, maybe how much this has actually helped me learn to write better, and like maybe even like influence or encourage me to think of how to incorporate writing into my career in new ways. Just having that anchor to always return to be like, oh, I have to do some writing today, and either Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday I'll start thinking about what I'm going to do. And if I get as far as getting like an image or a picture that I would like to use, or a photo, then I'm probably thinking over the course of a few days how I want that poem to look. So it might actually be more than just like half an hour or an hour. It's like there's a lot of ambient thought that goes into that too. But thinking back, it was a pretty good way to get myself just to do something consistently over the course of a long period of time. Like a lot of with starting something new, it's hard to keep that motivation going. Like I've always wanted to do like game dev, and I think I have all the skills I need to do that, but it's really hard to keep that drive going for all of the mundane parts of doing that. And not to say like the hard parts I don't really want to do. Hard parts for me are like promoting stuff. I'm very bad at promoting things that I do. Even if I particularly enjoy it, I usually find the things I make not very great, even if other people say otherwise. It's hard for me to get behind my work like that. Something I have to work on. But like promoting something is just hard. Promoting even just like these Haikus Days blog posts, website pages, and photography is difficult for me. But having to interface with that once a week sort of acclimates me to being able to do it more. So like it was initially like a way for me to keep writing, do some writing every week, but I've also improved not only writing, but probably a bit of creative and analytical thought. Like what's in this image, what can I capture, what can I talk about, to photography. I've been taking a lot more pictures than I have been over the past year. I've taken a lot more pictures than I have prior to that. Keeping to a schedule. I've learned to automate a few things that I'm doing, so I'm not doing the same mundane things over and over again. I try to make as much of what I'm putting out there copy pastable, or I know exactly what I need to do to make it work for my site. I made a few changes to make it easier to share things, which has actually increased engagement, which is good to see, and like started getting into kind of the understanding SEO type search engine optimization type things, which is stuff I'm like I know about but not know about. So even just dipping my toes into those waters is new stuff I wasn't anticipating doing. And of course maintaining a site, which I do just as a part of work, but being able to do that personally on the side, just keep going. It's good to like see that I have come that far. And I think having those little anchors helped a bunch with kind of the bigger anchors throughout the month. So that's the small part. Every month I also do like an educational page and a philosophical human nature interaction post, which both require a lot more thought and research. But having those, which could put me off, like if I don't do them, it's kind of like, well, if I were doing those and I didn't have these little anchors, I'd probably be like, well, if I miss this one, it won't be that big of a deal. But because I've been so consistent with the little anchors, it's like I haven't missed a week. Why do I want to miss any part of the month? And it might shift a little bit when I do a post, like within days of each other, or maybe even a week at most. But I was able to keep with it, and I think it's all very much like thanks to those tiny anchors. Like as silly as it is, the silly little idea that like the only thing that could have happened that made it like ridiculously worthwhile would be if they went viral for some reason. But it's just not that kind of content, I think. Great, like coffee table, like definitely put that stuff in a book, and people would probably like buy that for like a decorative piece of their home, but certainly not like viral video quality type things or stuff like that. So that would have made it absolutely hilarious. It was just like, yep, this alone was a business venture. That probably would have been crazy. But just in hindsight, thinking about how much stuff I've put together, 52 plus poems, 52 plus photos, 12 months worth of blog posts and educational content. It's pretty crazy. Neat little milestone. I'll probably have to celebrate that in some way, more than just talking about it in a video and giving myself a pat on the back here for not missing any of them. But it is good to reflect and be like, you know what? I think I am a slightly better photographer. I'm a slightly better photo editor. I'm a slightly better writer, and I can keep a schedule. And I can kind of keep going with that. It's a nice little thing to kind of look back on. Maybe a little takeaway. Like, if you're looking to do something, like to try something new that you want to invest in and you don't want to lose that, like it's easy to think of like a really big picture thing you want to do. Like when I was wanting to do game dev, the big thing is like the finished product. I want to have something I can play and be proud of, and it's like my vision and I can see it and interact with it. And that's not realistic. Like you can do that. It just takes a lot longer than we're good at dealing with as people. But when you give yourself little anchors, those little anchors to show your progress, to track your progress, you can kind of look back on that and be like, so I'm not sure how much better I am in the big picture of things, in the grand scheme of things, but I definitely feel like I've come somewhere, somehow, from where I was before, which is kind of neat. So find your little anchors. Find the little things that that are easy to commit to. They don't have to be like super duper easy. You can spend as much time as you want on those, but something that your brain is okay with doing. Like I could do that every week. I could do that for a little bit every day. And keep yourself committed to that. And then by the time you're done with a year of it, you're like, I've done that. In my case, it was once a week, 52 times. And each time I was pretty happy with it. And I feel like I've gotten better over time. And I've got an okay following in a few places where I've been posting this stuff. So kind of neat. Now I just got to push. Keep doing it. Anyway, I think that's probably about it. We'll leave it at that. And won't be here tomorrow, despite not having a rehearsal. Just keeping on with the pattern. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And I think we'll call it that. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday and a wonderful Wednesday. And we'll catch you next time. See ya.